With Spider-Man cornered by some of his worst foes from his long and storied heroic history, could things possibly get worse for the webhead? Well, let's hop into the pages of Sinister War issue number 3 and find out together, shall we? So then, as we pick up with this issue, things are pretty much the same as it ever was. Peter Parker is getting knocked around this graveyard by a who's who of former Sinister Six members. In the last part of this story, Kindred had upped the ante by saying whichever villain actually manages to do the impossible and kill Spider-Man, they will be chosen to be Kindred's right hand, and anyone who should fail in this endeavor will be forced to suffer the horrors of hell for all time. Or something like that. There was also brain worms involved a la Wrath of Khan, but those don't get brought up in this issue at all. Now, for a brief second there, Spider-Man actually thinks the cavalry may finally have come to save him. Black Cat is there and she's not alone. She's brought along longtime Spider-Man friend and ally Wolverine and even the Human Torch. But hey, you know that old saying, if it's too good to be true, it probably is? Well, this is most certainly one of those situations, as that wasn't really Black Cat, it was just an illusion created by Mysterio. Heck, the bad guys may very well have been able to do Spider-Man in right there and then were it not for the mindless new lizard that they've inducted into their ranks without the Connors part of his personality to balance him out. Actually, villains undercutting themselves ends up becoming a major theme of this story moving forward. You see, the OG Sinister Six think they have Spider-Man dead to rights, but then Vulture and the Savage Six come on in to kill steal, as the kids say. Now this is all pretty chaotic, right? But believe it or not, Kindred isn't done yet. He has one last trick up his sleeve, and that is to bring another party member to the fight. Yes, that's right, for the second time now, Kindred goes out of his way to resurrect Stanley Carter the Sin Eater, despite the fact that the two had actually left on very antagonistic terms. If it seems like Kindred is acting a little self-sabotagey, then what happens next might actually add a little bit more context to what's going on. You see, Dr. Octopus is finally able to grab Spider-Man, and everyone is pretty certain that Octavius will be the one to finally squash the bug and earn Kindred's favor. Here's the thing though, Spider-Man actually manages to get inside Oc's head by saying how lame and embarrassing it is that Octavius has gone back on all the great character development he's had over the last couple years just to be a stooge for Kindred. Geez, Spider-Man, stop pointing out character inconsistencies and continuity issues. That's the whole reason I'm here, damn it. Spider-Man manages to give Ock and the others the slip and hits the ground running. After all, this isn't all about him. Mary Jane was taken by Kindred a few issues back too, and Pete is ready to move heaven and earth if it means saving her. Sadly, with enemies around every corner, Spider-Man ends up running smack dab in the middle of a meeting between the superior foes of Spider-Man led by Boomerang. Here's the thing though, Boomerang actually gives Spider-Man the opportunity to run instead of going in for the kill himself, perhaps implying that Fred Meyer still feels bad about how his relationship with Spider-Man ended up dissolving due to his own greedy betrayal a couple arcs back. Spider-Man finally manages to leave the graveyard and catch his breath. It's been a hard road, but he thinks he can finally be able to power on through here. That is, of course, until he comes face to face with, get this, the sixth and final incarnation of all these different Sinister Sixes. You've got the Sin Eater, you've got Juggernaut, you've got the Grey Gargoyle, the Living Laser, Whirlwind, and oh yeah, just Morlun too of the Inheritors, because, you know, things weren't hard enough for Spider-Man, they really needed to up the difficulty on this one. Now, believe it or not, that's not actually where the comic ends. As things come to a close, Kindred goes on another speech about sins and people never being able to change, while we're also shown Dr. Octopus, Fred Myers, and even Beetle. The idea seeking to be that these players are every bit as important in Kindred's master stroke as Spider-Man himself is. And so that was Sinister War issue number 3, everybody, and honestly it feels a lot like the last couple issues of Sinister War. Spider-Man gets knocked around a graveyard for a little bit, Kindred does some vague villainous monologuing, and we're not actually that much closer to really understanding anything. This is also the penultimate issue of Sinister War, which positively blows my mind and once again affirms what I've been saying for a bit now, and that is that all of the big revelation and payoff is going to be shoved into the last issue, isn't it? For what it's worth, I didn't hate this issue. I do love getting to see how conflicted the villains are in this final battle with Spider-Man, and now I do begin to wonder, will they ultimately show their better angels in the end and prove Kindred wrong? Or will they fall back on bad habits and make them right? I don't know for sure, but I do know that I am starting to get just a little bit tired with all of it. I would give this another very fitting 6 out of 10.
Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.